Thank you so much for joining us for this celebration of our fellowship class. I want to start by thanking my family and friends, some of whom are here, for all of their support during this time. I specifically want to thank my wonderful parents, my brothers, my grandmother, aunt, and my bonus grandmother who are joining us tonight. And I want to thank my grandfather, Joe Bass, who is here in spirit and I know would be so proud of me. I am honored to be this year's Susan Scanlon Fellow and want to thank my fellowship sponsor, the Kahn Foundation, as well as Miss Susan Scanlon, the founder of this unbelievable program. And on that note, I have to thank Cindy and Cheryl for offering so much wisdom and support and guiding us all through this fellowship. I don't know what we would do without you. This fellowship came at the perfect time for me. I've spent the last 3 years as a student and electoral organizer working for organizations like the Virginia Student Power Network, Organizing Empowerment Project, and even on the 2020 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign. I had a little experience in government with an undergraduate internship in the office of then Vice President Joe Biden, but I always wanted substantial policy experience, and being placed in Congresswoman Lee's office has given me more than I could have asked for. I want to thank Team Lee, the Congresswoman's incredible staff, for being so welcoming and teaching me so much in such a short amount of time. I want to thank the Chief of Staff, Julie, the Deputy Chief, Kayla, the Legislative Assistants, Samira and Erica, the comms team, Sean and Sarah, the rest of the DC staff, Chris, Alex, and Jared, and the district staff. And most of all, I want to thank my supervisor, Gregory Adams, the Congresswoman's Legislative Director. To say Greg is an incredible supervisor is a serious understatement. He has been a true mentor who has given me an incredible amount of responsibility while building my confidence and making sure I've had a substantive fellowship experience, though I've been completely remote. There have been times when I've doubted myself, but Greg has supported me by making sure I felt I could ask him any question and complete any task he assigned to me. One of my biggest responsibilities that Greg has trusted me with is assisting in leading the work for the Defense Spending Reduction Caucus, which the Congresswoman co-chairs. I have drafted letters to President Biden and led strategy sessions to work to rein in the Pentagon spending. I've also been able to put my master's degree in global studies and international relations to work, assisting with the Cuba Working Group and attending congressional briefings on topics ranging from vaccine distribution and diplomacy in Latin America to updates on conflict between Israel and Palestine. I have drafted floor speeches for the Congresswoman, prepared legislation for introduction and reintroduction, written and circulated Dear Colleague letters, recruited co-sponsors for a number of the Congresswoman's legislative priorities, and so much more. Some of my more memorable moments have included managing the submissions of the office's fiscal year 22 appropriations request, which constituted the longest 2 weeks of my life. I have also had the privilege of working to gather support for the Congresswoman's efforts to establish a National Commission on Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation. I don't think I'll ever forget sending hundreds of emails to Hill's staff and the rush I felt after learning each one of the current 145 co-sponsors signed on in support of the legislation. I have been extremely fortunate to spend my fellowship working for a member of Congress whose progressive values and dedication to racial and economic justice so closely aligned with mine. Congresswoman Barbara Lee is truly a force in Congress and in the community. Many know her as the only member to vote against the 2001 authorization for use of military force, a vote that took an incredible amount of foresight and courage to cast. Others know her as a protege of Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman elected to Congress. I know her as a tireless advocate, public servant, and fearless leader. In my meetings with constituents, people often end our conversations by saying, Barbara Lee speaks for me, and this is not just a slogan. Congresswoman Lee truly represents the people of California's 13th district, which includes the city of Oakland. She is steadfast in her beliefs, but is always willing to work across the aisle for the betterment of this country. Whether it's leading the poverty task force, advocating for common sense reforms to the Pentagon budget, or serving as the first African American chair of the House Appropriations Subcommittee on State and Foreign Operations, Congresswoman Barbara Lee continues to earn the respect and admiration of her fellow members of Congress, her staff, and her constituents. And now I would like to introduce Congresswoman Barbara Lee.
Thank you, Marshele, for that very kind introduction. I would also like to thank the Women's Congressional Policy Institute for hosting the Congressional Fellowship Program. For over 25 years, WCPI has worked with lawmakers to advance policies that uniquely impact women and create for a more inclusive and representative government. Women now make up just over a quarter of all members in the 117th Congress. Yes, it is the highest percentage in United States history. The work of WCPI furthers the goal of a more representative government by exposing women to the inner workings of Congress. Through this fellowship program, WCPI provides a unique opportunity to gain public policy experience and approach policy issues from the perspective and needs of women. As the highest ranking black woman in House leadership, I know the impact of having underrepresented groups at the table when policy is made. I'm so glad to see that you all recognize the importance of funding and supporting programs like WCPI that help shape the next generation of leaders. This year, my office hosted Marshele, who has made an incredible impact during her time with us. Her work on my legislation to create the first United States Commission on Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation, it has truly been remarkable. She was instrumental in gaining the 144 co-sponsors that we now have on this bill and building the momentum to bring it to the floor. Marshele also worked tirelessly to support my efforts as co-chair of the Defense Spending Reduction Caucus to reduce wasteful Pentagon spending and redirect resources to human needs. She also worked to help advance my legislation to bring an end to our costly forever wars, including the first ever committee markup of legislation to repeal the 2002 authorization to use military force. As a member of the House Appropriations Committee and chair of the Subcommittee on State and Foreign Operations, Marshele has played a vital role in helping our staff submit community project requests. Despite a global pandemic and the challenges of remote work, let me tell you, Marshele has taken on each and every challenge with passion and with a deep commitment to justice and public service. She is a born legislative professional, and in her short time in my office, she has become a trusted and capable full member of my team, taking on some tasks as the Capitol Hill veterans on my staff. I want to thank WCPI again for facilitating this program and giving women an invaluable opportunity to learn and gain experience in public policy. Once again, it has been a true honor to work with you. Marshele, I cannot wait to see what you accomplish in the future. Please stay in touch with me. Thank you again for everything, and congratulations.